Welcome to Inside WWII, your essential source for in-depth World War II history. We go beyond the timelines to explore the untold stories, key strategies, and personal accounts that shaped the greatest global conflict. If you're looking for high-quality, historically accurate content that truly brings the past to life, subscribe now. For 12 years, the Nazis told German women the lie. They have tails. They are monsters. Untermensch. Then, in 1945, the conquerors arrived. Not white saviors, but Black American soldiers. And the shock wasn't just in their skin. It was in the chocolate they offered. And the moment a terrified German child realized the propaganda was nothing but a wicked, monstrous lie. This is the untold story of how the Black GI became the final, ultimate proof of the Nazis' failure. The truth they found was a new kind of war.
The shock of German women at the sight of Black American soldiers at the end of World War II was a historical clash between the harsh racial hatred of Nazi propaganda and real human experience. Here is a detailed account of the incident. Background: the impact of Nazi propaganda. During the Nazi regime from 1933 to 1945, the German people were subjected to extreme misinformation and hateful propaganda about the Black population. The poison of hatred. According to Nazi ideology, Blacks were an inferior race, Untermensch, to the so-called Aryan master race. Blacks were often portrayed in the media, schools, and government discourse as barbarians, uncivilized, and a danger to Western culture. The emptiness of perspective. Blacks were negligible in Germany under Hitler. The brutal torture and forced sterilization of African soldiers serving in France, called the bastards of the Rhineland by the Nazis during the French occupation of the Rhineland in the 1920s, instilled a deep fear and misconception of Black people among Germans. Most German women had never seen a Black person up close before. First encounter and moment of shock. When the Allied forces, especially American troops, entered Germany in 1944 to 1945, German women were first confronted with large numbers of Black soldiers. Visual shock. The horrific and monstrous images of Black people portrayed in Nazi propaganda bore no resemblance to the real people. The soldiers' military uniforms, neatness, and modern military equipment created a sense of distrust and hesitation in the minds of Germans. A mixture of fear. The initial reaction was one of profound fear. The Nazis had propagandized that these soldiers would inflict extreme cruelty on the Germans. Many women hid their children or did not leave their homes out of fear. Real experience, humanity, and change in attitude. The initial phase of shock gradually began to change through real experience. Although Black soldiers in the American military were racially distinct, they had a common identity as an occupying force. Chocolate diplomacy. After the war, Germany was in dire shortages of food and other goods. Black soldiers often distributed chocolate, chewing gum, cigarettes, and tinned food to German children and women. This generosity, which the Germans did not expect from an enemy or occupying force during times of scarcity, quickly shattered the idea of barbarity promoted by the Nazis. Friendly behavior. Many Black soldiers showed compassion and humanity towards German citizens, especially children. This helped to overcome the fear that German women had built up in their minds and to establish a new relationship. Less racism. Surprisingly, many Black soldiers in Germany did not display the same racism towards German women that many Black soldiers experienced within the American military. In a sense, some German women found Black soldiers easier and less discriminatory. Resulting relationships and social debate. After the initial shock wore off, Many German women formed relationships with Black American soldiers, which created a new debate in society. Mixed relationships. The lack of food and security, as well as the need for human connection, led many German women to form friendships and romantic relationships with Black soldiers. Chocolate babies. These relationships resulted in many mixed-race children who were referred to in society as brown babies or children of war. The presence of these children raised questions of racial identity in German society, and the post-war German government and society had to deal with them in a complex way. In short, the shock of German women was a testament to the failure of Nazi ideology and the ease with which human relationships could be established. Despite initial fear and distrust, practical experience quickly changed their views of Black soldiers. The depths of Nazi hatred. Tales and other superstitions. The initial shock to German women was not limited to the difference in appearance, but was the result of the extreme prejudices spread by the Nazis. The tail rumor. A common story was that the Nazis propagated that Black soldiers had tails, which they hid inside their military pants. Many German children and women would whisper or hide in fear when they saw the soldiers, trying to find the tails. This was an extreme example of the dehumanization of Nazi propaganda. The destruction of physical myths. When the soldiers began to walk, eat, and behave normally like other white soldiers in the military, such physical myths were quickly shattered. The very human appearance of the soldiers disproved the idea of barbaric beasts propagated by the Nazis. The emancipation of Black soldiers in Germany and the hypocrisy of white Americans.
The personal experiences of Black American soldiers were one of the factors that changed the attitude of German women. Comparative freedom, Black American soldiers had suffered severe racial discrimination under Jim Crow laws in the American Army itself. But in post-Nazi Germany, where racial discrimination was outlawed, they experienced relative freedom and less racism. Many Black soldiers felt for the first time that they could enter European restaurants or shops, something that was impossible in their homeland. American racism to Germans. German women were often surprised by how openly white American soldiers discriminated against their own Black fellow soldiers. They saw that white GIs would often threaten German women for mixing with Black soldiers. The hypocrisy of this American racism became clear to the Germans. Negative effects of white GIs. Many white American soldiers tried to instill racism among the Germans. They forbade German women from mixing with Black soldiers and spoke in a manner reminiscent of the old Nazis about Blacks. Brown babies and the social controversy. The thousands of children born from mixed-race relationships created a deep moral and social debate in German society. War children. These children were seen by some in society as brown babies or foreign blood. These children became a symbol of shame for post-war German society, challenging their idea of a pure German ethnicity. Attempted government intervention. The West German government was embarrassed by these children in the 1950s. Initially, there were also proposals to separate these children from German society and adopt them abroad, such as in America or African American families. Psychologist Klaus Eiferth studied the intelligence, IQ, of these children and found that the intelligence of white and mixed-race children was almost the same. This study helped to calm the debate about race and intelligence. Help for African Americans. African American media and activists became concerned about the plight of these brown babies. They began to collect money and goods for these children, which became a symbol of solidarity for African American communities around the world. In conclusion, the incident of German women being shocked by the sight of Black soldiers was the final blow of the Nazis' hateful propaganda, which taught the defeated Germans a new standard of humanity. This turn of events later played a significant role in softening and redefining racial views in German society. personal experience, the surprise of the absence of racism. For many German women, the change in their attitude toward black soldiers was the result of personal perception and experience. The discovery of empathy. Many German women had expected the soldiers who had come to occupy their country to be ruthless and harsh. But the unexpected empathy from many black soldiers, especially when they saw that German women lived in extreme poverty, broke down their initial fears. The soldiers often picked up children or played with them. This human warmth was the opposite of Nazi propaganda. Confusion about black-white discrimination. German women were often surprised when they saw that Black American soldiers were being mistreated by their own white soldiers or were not allowed to sit in the same bar with them. This put the Germans in a strange situation. A country that preached democracy was treating its own soldiers in a racist manner. This experience forced German women to think anew about racism. Pride in being not a Nazi. Many gained a sense of moral superiority by associating with black soldiers. They believed that by forming relationships with blacks, they were proving that they were no longer racist like the Nazis, but were part of a new free-spirited Europe. War brides and the politics of love. German women's relationships with American black soldiers were not simply about food or security, but also reflected personal passion and dreams of a new life. War bride statistics. An estimated 14,000 to 20,000 German women married American soldiers, a significant number of whom were the wives of black soldiers. Although these war brides were controversial in the eyes of German society, their personal decision was an attempt to escape the harsh post-war reality. Opposition and social pressure. German women who had relationships with black soldiers faced widespread condemnation and resistance from German society. They were often seen as traitors to the country or disgraceful. They were boycotted by their families and neighbors. This social pressure forced many women to keep their relationships secret or to hide them after giving birth. American resistance. Even American military authorities discouraged these mixed relationships. In some cases, black soldiers were quickly repatriated or transferred to separate them from their German partners. Long-term legacy, Germany today. This historical event formed the basis of the racial consciousness of German society today. Anti-racist consciousness. The experiences of Black American soldiers showed Germans the contrast between the Nazi genocide and American racism. As a result, Germany consciously tried to create a national discourse against racism, which was the first step towards accepting racial diversity. The complexity of memory. The experiences of the brown babies who grew up in Germany have added a complex chapter to the study of German history. They were rejected by German society on one hand and often abandoned by the American military on the other. Their lives highlight the complex relationship between Germany's racial past and present. These personal experiences, social pressures, and political reactions combined to create a profound social transformation for German women who initially felt a sense of shock at the sight of black soldiers.